World of Warcraft has dominated the MMO market uncontested for 17 years now. They have been at the top of the game since before I was able to read. When I was a little kid, me and my brother got introduced to MMOs, and it was a concept that at the time we couldn't even grasp. We went into a friend's house and he showed us what Stormwind looked like with hundreds of people running about. We've never seen something like that, and we were instantly hooked. That was in 2007. Since then, whenever I heard the word MMO, I instantly thought of WoW. Everyone associated MMOs with WoW. They became the standard. It was like calling a plaster a band-aid. They became the same word. That's how powerful they were. I would have never expected this was gonna change. I wasn't around when WoW killed EverQuest, but let me tell you something. I know there has been talk about a WoW killer game ever since WoW came out. That was what everyone expected because a previous generation of MMOs, for lack of a better word, ended that way. A new game came out that was so good, everyone jumped into it. This time something wildly different happened. A game dominating a genre for 17 years, which is something unheard of, or at least in my lifetime, did not get killed by another game. Rather, it committed suicide. For all you people in the comment section, I know you're guessing what I'm gonna say next. And no, the Blizzard lawsuit might be a terrible thing, and my heart goes to the victims, but that's not what's causing this spectacular collapse that we're seeing right now. Riot Games had a very similar scandal a few years back, and they were able to sweep it under the rug in less than a week. Why? Because nobody really cares what the company does within its office, as terrible as it sounds, as long as the game is still good. And that's exactly where the problem lies with WoW right now. People are coming from under the rugs to talk about this lawsuit because it became a symbol of their larger frustration with the company.
So they're making the girls do all of the work while they talk about rape and harassing them. Now, I just want to ask a very, very simple question here. Do you think this makes World of Warcraft a better game? Very simple question. Because in my opinion, I will give you a very, very personal anecdote that I think many of you all have experienced. Have you ever been to a party? And have you ever had somebody that made everybody else at that party uncomfortable by the way they acted? Let's say maybe they talk too loud whenever they're drunk, and it completely kills the vibe of a party or a get-together or anything like that. Let's say it's a drunk uncle. Let's say it's something like that. What do you think happens whenever those people are your boss? What do you think happens to productivity whenever those people are in charge of you? What do you think happens to the product when those people are in charge of you? I'll tell you what happens. Shadowlands happens to the product. These other terrible things happen.
As much as Asmongold is in the right for calling them out for this vile violation of decency, let me tell you something. Do you really think that 2008 Zack would care, or would he be too busy playing the game to care?
Answer is yes, then do it. 12 to 18 hours a day, that's what it's going to take to be the best. If you think that it's not, you're not going to be the best. That's all there is to it.
Cataclysm literally destroying the world we fell in love with, filling the game up with microtransactions that rendered every cool thing you achieved worthless, an entire demo expansion about pandas, an expansion that involved a Facebook game and no content, giving every 8-year-old an Ashbringer, cause lore doesn't matter anymore, removing tier sets and replacing them with arbitrary systems that are objectively worse and serve no other purpose than extending your playtime, taking down the private server that offered the old game we actually wanted, not only to bring it back with the minimal effort possible, only to fill it up with microtransactions again, so made the loop start over. And I think that's actually the straw that broke the camel's back for everyone. We thought Classic was an admission that Blizzard messed up, and that their old game philosophies were right. Then it turns out it was just a plot to sell more mounts, and finally, after 10 years, the people that gave the company money, no matter what, saw through it. I have seen the same company that raked millions from the love of the people that play the game bite the hand that feeds them for 10 years, and never in my mind I thought there was gonna be a day when they said enough is enough and quit. I think today's that day. And I think this is a moment in my life when I just got a little older and a little wiser. No king rules forever. That was the line Terenas told Arthas when he died. That same line was used earlier last week, when Mad Season Zhao quit WoW, followed by fellow content creator Willy. And you might be thinking, okay, those two are classic players, they started 2 years ago and they left as quickly as they came. I thought the same thing, and I thought it wasn't an alarming thing. But then what happens the next day? Mother Preach with WoW. That's right. The man that has been doing content about WoW for 10 years. I dare say the face of high-level raiding. He was a former method player for a time, and then he became a caster for many world first races. He has been covering the game for so long. And that guy, that I think was untouchable, finally had enough. Honestly, I thought he was gonna be covering WoW until Terminator machines took over YouTube in 2044. I can't really describe the sheer panic I felt when I checked my phone briefly at work and I got the notification on the title of his video that he was quitting WoW. Let me tell you something, those were some long ass 4 hours before I got out of work and I watched it at home. It literally changed my life in a way. I have learned something, and I don't quite know what that is. I just cannot wait to see the storm that ensues from all this mess and where it goes. Maybe the death of WoW is a good thing. Maybe now that there's no monster dominating the market, some ambitious developer is gonna finally have the funding to make the next MMO. Maybe a groundbreaking game will be allowed to exist and rise now. Who knows? And no, as much as it is obvious that Final Fantasy just absorbed a huge portion of the WoW player base, I do not think that's the endgame of all of this. Something big is about to happen, guys. And I can't for the life of me know what. I really wish I could.